Hi everyone, I'm here with my Stitch Maynia plans, and it's going to be the Christmas edition because I will be stitching Christmas smalls for the month of May. The reason I chose to do Christmas smalls is because I knew if I started a bunch of big projects, none of them would ever get done. So, from the 2016 Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornaments issue, I'll be stitching Let's Bring You Closer, okay, so I'll be stitching Santa Waving Goodnight by the Prairie Schooler, Christmas and Friends by Money Di Donna, Blue Snowman by the Little Stitcher, and Waiting for Santa by Swalex Stitchery. Okay, so what's next? From Lizzie Kate, I'll be stitching, let's bring you a little closer. So from Lizzie Kate, I'll be stitching Wanted, Ready or Not, I'll get my elves on that, Santa Got the Goods. Also, from the Tiny Tidings series, I'll be stitching Jingle Jingle, this one here, but I'll be modifying it. Instead of the French word on top, I will be modifying it to say Santa Claus in Portuguese because it's Papai Noel. Be Merry and Christmas. Noel. Enjoy. All the Lizzie Kates will be stitched on tea coffee dyed 28 count monochrome. So the largest project will be Ornamental Joy by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I ran out of my tea coffee dyed batch that I had dyed for Christmas, so I had to cut a piece of my batch I made for Halloween because I made it a lot darker. So let me just show you the difference. Yeah, this is the one I did for Christmas, and this is the Halloween version. You can see it's a lot darker, so I hope it will look alright. From Cuore and Batticuore, La mia festa preferita, and I'm sorry for probably saying it completely wrong. I'll be stitching out of this pattern, and let's see if it'll focus. It's having issues. I'll leave it here. The birdhouse and the bird, and I'll be stitching them on 14 count plastic canvas. I wanted to stitch the Merry Christmas sign as well, but I had way too many patterns chosen. So from Brent Creek, I will be stitching Be Merry. I will not be using the snap. I think from all of the patterns I have in this series that comes with the snaps. I don't think I will use the snaps for any of them. Okay, from the Stony Creek Cross Stitch collection, Spring 2016. Okay, I'll be stitching Jingle Your Bells. I plan on finishing the same way as the magazine shows, so I wanted to stitch it on Lugana or Joblin because they have that little sheen to it, but I didn't have any white in my stash, so I'll be using 28 count Monaco. You know, it's not, doesn't have the sheen, but at least it's white. This is just a piece that came in one of these grab bags from 123 Stitch because I didn't want to cut a piece so small from like a larger size of the fabric. Since I want to use my key snap with it, I attached these 4 pieces of cotton fabric so it will fit on my key snap. I could stitch it on this 22 count hardanger I have here, which I will use for a couple other projects for Stitch Maynia. But as you can see, the reindeer has a bow on her head, and I do have the bow, so I wasn't sure if the bow would look too big on the 22 count. Okay. From the Stony Creek Cross Stitch collection, Autumn 2016, I will be stitching let's cover the pattern. Okay, I'll be stitching Ginger Treats, and he is the cutest gingerbread man ever. Isn't he just adorable? He'll be stitched on the 22 count hardanger I mentioned a little bit ago. And the only reason I am using this 22 count hardanger for this project is because it's already on a scroll frame. I had started a project here, but I read the pattern wrong. I thought the pattern was 256 by 256, but the person who made the pattern divided it in 4. So the 256 by 256 is just a quadrant of the pattern, so the whole pattern wouldn't fit in this, you know, small size of 22 count hardanger. So I'll be using for the gingerbread man. And from the Happy Hand Towels, I will stitch on also the 22 count white hardanger. I'll stitch Noel. I had stitched this on Ada before, but I don't think I'll do anything with it, so I'll just redo it. And I will also be stitching Merry Christmas. From the same booklet, I'll be stitching these birdhounds on 14 count plastic canvas. Okay, what's next? From a Merry Noel, I'll be stitching Gingerbread Man over here. Isn't he just cute? And I think this will be it for this booklet. I will be stitching Be Merry by Shepherd's Bush. I'll be stitching this on 28 count tea coffee dyed Monaco. The pattern calls for 10 count Tula sand. That's probably why it gets to be this big, but I want to finish it as an ornament, so. Okay, from this other book, I'll be stitching, and I really wish I didn't have 31 projects already, because I wanted to stitch more than just Daffy Duck. But it's Daffy Duck wearing antlers. He'll be stitched on plastic canvas. Okay, and I think this is the last. Yes, this is the last pattern. It is Folksy Saint Nick, and from this book I will be stitching. I'll be stitching Santa over here, Saint Nick, the ornament, and the snowman. They will be stitched on the same linen as the Waiting for Santa from the Just Cross Stitch ornament magazine. I will also be stitching this stocking up here. This one will definitely be on plastic canvas. And let me see if I have bigger pictures. No, the inside of the book doesn't have the finished project pictures. But I'll be stitching these 3 little mittens down here on plastic canvas separate, but I'm counting them as one project. So as I mentioned, I will be starting really 31 projects, and that's quite a bit for me. I don't have a lot of time to stitch, unfortunately, and I hate saying that because you know, you make time for what you want. And I'm keeping everything in these 2 zippered pouches. I only cut the 1 10 by 10 piece of the raw linen, so I made myself a little chart here where the 5 projects are going to be stitched. And the order for the projects are on my computer. I also labeled the fabric. So for example, this is an 8 by 6 piece of tea coffee dyed Monaco. The pattern calls for 6 by 7.5, but since I kind of ran out of, you know, the larger pieces, I'm just using what I have. And this will be on day 10. So I just made a spreadsheet. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet. I'm keeping the order of the projects I'll be doing. It's the same spreadsheet I use for my patterns and fabric stash and my whips. So I have the title, the designer, the publication or collection, the stitch count, the fabric I will be using, the design finished size, and this way I can calculate the size of the fabric. I'm doing a 2-inch border since I will be finishing them very close to the design. If the fabric was ready, everything is yes now because I finished this morning. The start date, so it starts on May 1st, and it goes all the way to May 31st. The finished date, I put in a due date of 11:30 just because. The progress, everything is 0% now because I haven't started, and they will be done once they are fully finished. And I have a few notes here. Tells me if I want to change part of the design, like that one from Lizzie Kate that I am stitching papaye instead of the French word. And if I have the embellishment, or if I made a chart for the fabric. I didn't thought about the order. For example, the first 4 days will be from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, just because the magazine will be out anyways. The only patterns that I was careful on the for the start date was the bigger ones. So the Lizzie Kate sent us and the Ornamental Joys, because they're bigger patterns, I put them on Saturdays and Sundays, but everything else was just as I was pulling out of my stash. They, were filling up number 3, 4, 5, etc. So hopefully this will keep me organized. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend, and happy Stitch Mania. Bye.